Good morning. My name is Esther and I'm part of the communications team at Children on the Edge, and I want to welcome you to our very first virtual coffee break. The theme this morning is Going Digital, Meaningful Education that Makes an Impact. And to set the scene for you, a good way is to start imagining that you're a child that has had to flee their home country, arriving in a strange place and going to a classroom where all the books are in a language you don't understand. Even the teacher speaks a language that you don't understand. So not only would this be utterly destabilizing, especially after everything you've been through, but there would be very little chance of actually learning anything. This has been the situation facing Rohingya refugee children in Bangladesh. And our new digital education program has been breaking down these language barriers and making meaningful education possible. So we have a panel of people who have created this work and are currently working directly on the programme, who are going to be telling us all about it. So wave when I mention your name. Bimal Desarkar is the CEO of Mukti Bazar. He's based in Bangladesh. John Littleton is our Asia Regional Manager at Children on the Edge, and he's speaking to us from Thailand today. Rebecca Cartoon is our Monitoring and Evaluation Manager with Children on the Edge and Mukti. She's speaking to us from Bangladesh this morning. And Gemma Driver, who's responsible for monitoring, evaluation and learning at Children on the Edge UK. So as we go along, please feel free to put any questions or comments in the chat below, and we'll do our best to respond to them at the end. Thanks again for joining us. So if I can kick off with Bimal, could you tell us a little bit about the situation currently for Rohingya people in Kutupalong?
Thank you. Actually, you know that Rohingya community, they are the victim of ethnic cleansing operations by the Myanmar government. And in 2017, 25th August, near about 800,000 people of Myanmar, they fled their country and took shelter in Ukhia and Teknaf of Cox's Bazar. And this is not the first time, actually. The influx happened earlier. First influx was happened in 1978, then 1982, then 1992, and 2016 and 2017 is a huge influx. At present, there are more than 925,000 forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals are actually living in Ukhia and Teknaf. There are 33 camps. Earlier, there were 34 camps, but very recently, one camp actually evacuated, and they were relocated in other camps. So 33 camps, they are living in 33 camps. And among them, in Kutupalong, especially in Ukhia Upazila, there are 24 camps. So in 24 camps, almost near about 800,000 Rohingya communities, people are living there. And among them, 52% are children. So this is huge number of children. They are living inside the camp, Kutupalong. And at present, international organizations, national and local organizations, UN organizations, they are providing support in different sectors like food, shelter, education, protection, wash, health, and other sectors. So together, all the agencies, UN, international, national, and local organizations, we are providing services for the humanitarian ground, and this is done by a coordination mechanism, ISCG, Intersectoral Coordination Group is working there. and under the administration of RRRC, the government. So we are providing education there, like Mukti Bazar. Other organizations also providing education to the um, Myanmar children. So this is one thing, and inside the camp, this is now more disciplined, service providing in a disciplined way, and government machineries as well as other agencies are working very well inside the camp. But the situation uh, is now demanding uh, to continue the services, but from the last year actually 21, um, not 100% JRP funded by the donors, and 22 almost about 50% funded of JRP. Uh, we don't know what will be happened in 2023. 2023, most probably in January, JRP will be launched. So we have to wait for donors actually response on JRP. There is a huge need of funding in different sectors, but funding is reducing every
Right.
day. This is the situation.
Yeah. So, Children on the Edge and Mukti have been working together for over a decade. Could you describe that partnership and what we've been achieving together?
Yes, we are very much grateful to Children on the Edge, and we are celebrating 12 years partnership with Children on the Edge. We had started our journey in 2010, and already past 12 years. We had started with education for the vulnerable children who are actually basically working children in CBS area and in other slum areas. So we had started in Cox's Bazar town with a small number of students, but gradually every year it is actually expanding, and now uh, in host area, Cox's Bazar and Dohajari and also Ramu Upazila, we are covering 4 sub-districts, and there are 1,700 children. They are learning with the assistance of Children on the Edge. Actually, the education which uh, we are providing, this is exciting because this is the new idea for the children that they are learning through digital content. We are using some equipment, we are using video and audio clips, so they are enjoying in the classroom. This is joyful environment, they are actually enjoying, they are learning, and also there is a platform, Moja Kids, they are performing in the platforms. uh, so we hope that this is working very well. And in 2018 we had started our activities inside the camp also with the support of Children on the Edge. At present, there are 75 learning centers with 7,500 children. We are providing education as per the guidelines or curriculum designed by the education sector under the ISCG. You know, uh, but several times the curriculum changed, and finally, this year from 1st July, they introduced Myanmar curriculum, and we are also coping with that curriculum. You know that children as well as the teachers, they are now receiving the training on this new curriculum. This is going on, and we are trying to make some um, curriculum in digital system, and we are imparting those lessons in the classrooms digitally. This is the current situation in the camp, and we are trying to develop um, the system in their mother language,
The
so that
mother language.
we
Yeah,
are developing lessons in digitally, and we are also translating the uh, curriculum in the Rohingya language, so that the children can understand very easily. So it is very, very exciting program for the Mukti Cox's Bazar, and all the administration and all concerned education sector. They are very much uh, 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 very much helpful in our program, and also their comments very positively about the achievement of our joint effort.
that's great. Thank you, Bimal. Any more questions anybody has for Bimal, please do put them in the chat. I'm just going to go over to John now. John, could you tell us a bit more about the digital program in the learning centres, and just explain why we started using this method and why it's so important for the children's education?
Sure. Well, our story begins back in 2009, actually, when we first met Bimal. And then we were also working with another Rohingya civil society group that was just beginning in the camp at that time. And I traveled out to Bangladesh with our CEO, Rachel Bentley. And we went, with open hands. We weren't sure what exactly our program would look like. So we were really interested in hearing what the refugee community wanted most. And we sat down with the leadership committee there in Kutupalong camp and just said, what do you need? This is who we are. How can we help? And the overwhelming and very clear response was, we need education. Our children are not learning. Most of our people cannot read or write, both children and adult. And they were very, very explicit that education is what they wanted more than anything. So beginning in 2010, we began to open on a small scale schools both in the refugee camp and then also in the host community with working children, like Bimal referred to earlier. And over the next 7 years or so, we actually grew that into 45 schools in the camp and about 20 or more in the host community around. And what we did is we used the government approved basically the government equivalency textbooks that were approved at that time in the Bengali or Bangla language. And so when the refugees would come over and learn at our schools, they would be able then to more easily interact with their surroundings, with the host community around them. Because the Rohingya language is not a written language, and it's the sister language of the language spoken in southern Bangladesh called the Chittagong dialect. And so they're relatively close, except in Bangladesh. Chittagong dialect is written using the Bengali script. And so when the refugees were able to come over and learn Bengali script and learn through our centers, they were able to interact with and in even some cases assimilate rather directly and easily with the community around them. However, starting in 2010, after the ethnic cleansing and the arrival of about 1 million refugees, that created a lot of upheaval and chaos. And then the government became much more sensitive to having children be educated in the local language and being able to assimilate so easily. So beginning shortly thereafter, there was a new mandate that English could only be done in English, or education could only be done in English or Burmese, which are both languages scarcely used, spoken, understood within the camp. So that was created a huge block for us to actually providing meaningful education. So now, 5 years later, it's been introduced and mandated by the government that we use the Myanmar government curriculum solely, which would be all subjects in the Burmese language, except for English, of course. and this is a huge obstacle for education because, again, as I said, Burmese is a language not used at all in Bangladesh and barely used at all amongst the Rohingya community. And so, in light of that, we had to come up with a new strategy. And the only one that we could find and would make sense would be to start using digital education, where we actually translate the textbooks and curriculum into Rohingya language. Even though it's not a written language, it's a spoken language. And so we are able to use that as a means of educating both the students and the teachers many times simultaneously on what's in the textbooks, and begin to open the door to having real education happen inside the camps using these digital lessons, which is extremely important given that Kutupalong is the world's largest refugee camp, and the Rohingya are the world's largest stateless people group, and their future is heavily dependent on the next generation of Rohingya having real education take place.
That's brilliant. So how does that, can you kind of explain how the digital program works on a practical level, and what that looks like in the classroom and to the children?
Yeah, so it really took, we had the idea, but it took a while for technology to catch up. And it wasn't probably until around 2018 when we began to get to a point where we could find battery-powered projectors that would last long enough through a school day for us to do morning and afternoon lessons for the students. And we just began very simply by just getting open source content from YouTube or other places that we were allowed to use. And we were just using it as a way of augmenting the existing lessons we had. And then as that process went on, we realized there were more and more possibilities, and we could actually provide more holistic and comprehensive education to the children. But we were always trying to keep up with the curriculum, because the curriculum kept changing due to the input of the government or sometimes the education sector. And so we went through several curriculums before this year. And then finally we got the Myanmar government curriculum was approved. And there's a whole nother conversation to be had there about using the actual government curriculum of the textbook curriculum of the government that just committed ethnic cleansing against these people and mandated that they use those textbooks for the education of their children. But that's not what we're here to discuss today. But once we did have that, it did open the door for us to really begin to focus on just one curriculum. We know this is the curriculum we're going to be using. And so now we're very focused on using that. So what we're doing right now is we're just translating the lessons, literal page by page, textbook by textbook, from Burmese into Rohingya language, and then projecting them up so students and teachers can see them simultaneously and understand what's going on in the book. And then our digital team will do that in the office and in the green room that we've created. And then they'll also provide extra content around that to engage with the children. It could just be cartoons, or it could be other educational content to keep the children interested. And then those lessons are sent out, depending on the location, either by phone over WhatsApp or by the USB drive. The internet access in Kutupalong, the world's largest campus, heavily controlled, and the speeds are really throttled. They don't want a lot of exchange of information by internet in and out of the camp. And so in that case, we have to use USB drives to get the lessons out daily. And then the projectors go out daily and are used in the classrooms. And then they come back and they're charged, and new lessons are refreshed for the next day in our office. So that's how the education part of the program takes place. When we began doing this with our first round of projectors, which we were able to finally find in Singapore back in around 2018, and we began doing the style of education, something pretty incredible happened. The kids came to us and said rather clearly, well, if you can make videos for us, why can't we make videos for you and for each other? And that was one of those kind of big light bulb moments for everybody in the room. And we realized, hold on, there's a lot more here that we could be accessing and doing with this program. So prior to that, we had done printed newsletters because we, like many programs, really do value hearing the voice of the child. We want to get the kids, give them the opportunity to express their creativity and share. But those are really limited to just a few printed pages. And then what we realized with the digital is that if we gave the children uh, the right materials and support, they have a blank canvas to do whatever they want, with no need to curate it. They could just literally create and express themselves in any way, and then we would just package it and then disseminate it to almost 10,000 children across Bangladesh. And so that started with songs and dances and skits and sometimes talents or arts and craft. And it's growing more and more in new directions now. We have a green room which can represent really anywhere on the planet. They can make skits in football stadiums or on airplanes, and so there's lots and lots of new ideas that they're coming up with weekly. And it just gives us a chance to hear the voice of the child directly and allow them to, give their thoughts and views, and express themselves in any way they wish directly. And we see just a lot of possibilities ahead there.
It
So
really
there's
is
the
great.
academic side, and there's the Moja Kids
Yeah.
creative side. And if you want to learn more about Moja Kids, you can go to www.mojakids.net.
Yes, there's over 50 newsletters now to browse through on their site, which they're very proud of, and had a celebration, I think, a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
where they were all holding signs up saying 50th edition, which was really great to see.
And many more to come, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Many more
A lot
to
of
come, and even starting to link up with other children
Mhm.
in other countries. A program we
Mhm.
support in India, they started sharing some of their talents as well. So that's just really exciting. So I'm just going to head over now to Rebecca, who is talking to us from Bangladesh. In fact, she's just come to the end of her day and has been visiting some of the learning centres in the camp today. So she's quite tired, but happy to be with us. Rebecca, what do you think from talking to the children? What's their reaction to the digital program? How do they feel about it?
Yeah, actually, children very enjoy the classes about digital lessons. Actually, first, I want to share something with you. I joined in this program in 2021. So I think the most important thing here, I work here because there is the option digital learning. In all camps, there is no opportunity to learn digitally. So it's a great opportunity for our learners. Because there is 33 refugee camps in Ukhi and Teknaf Villages in Bangladesh. The largest number of people live in Kutupalong camps. Our project has worked in seven camps. We have 75 learning center here. We have 7,500 learners. After visiting these 75 learning centers and talking to our learners, I feel their thinking about digital program is very clear. They all welcomed and understood the importance of digital learning. There is no end of children curiosity about digital lessons. They are very happy to do the class through digital lesson. Everyone I spoke to, they told me one thing that was digital lessons are very important to their learning because they can learn very easily. The most important things for they can learn here easily through digital lesson. By doing this, the quality of their studies improved and their brains also development. Please, I'm meeting a also sorry, our
It's like,
colleagues here that yeah. The most important thing for the children to learn, such as reading, speaking, listening, and seeing all steps in the videos. So that is improved for digital learning. They are fresher than other children. They are more interested. They are more focused. Creativity among them has increased a lot. Relationships with family members are much more improved than before. Those boys and girls who used to talk loudly and behave rudely with their parents, sometimes the parents are complaining to us, but now they are told us their child are very flexible. They are changes. When we realize and analyze what is the thing it's happened here, then we analyze digital lesson play the special role.
that's brilliant.
And
Good
you
to hear.
know, when they came to Bangladesh, they share with us, when they came to Bangladesh, their condition was very poor. They thought they would spend their day in inhumanity and hardship and lots of hard work they need to do. But they didn't think they get the opportunity to study in Bangladesh. They felt that is the special blessing for the creator for them because they can learn here. They said now it helped them change their life. They didn't know it is possible to teach like these digital videos or creating recorded videos. Education can be learned through videos. It is unimaginable for them. They can't imagine that, but now they see and they impressed. Due to Mojakit's videos, they learn various crafting and tasks by watching videos. They share their stories, lots of interview they attend, so they share their feelings. That is great. They also know other people, other refugees also share their lives in other countries. So that is similar with them. That's affect them, and they feeling some of them are like them. So they are not alone here in this earth. They can now do various types of pictures. Uh, They draw a lot of pictures for our learning center for decorating their LCs. They can now read, they can write, they can speak. Sometimes the teaches their brother and sisters. That is good for us because they help their brother and sisters to learn. Some learners say that their mother never got the opportunity to study. First, their community people thought, should the girls need study? Now, lot of girls can study. The policy was that girls would at stay home and housework. But after coming Bangladesh, there has been a drastic change in their life. Through this digital study, they now realize that if their mother knew how to study, it will be better for them. Their all hopes now depended on digital lessons. Their studies have because easier because of digital learnings. They express their opinion about digital programs. So I want to share all of them. Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now, Learning Center 1, Camp 1 East in Kutupalong. According to Rumor Sharma, with the digital program, the classes do not seem difficult at all. How easy to learn, remember a long time. Alphabetic attitudes are eliminated through this program. As the subject of the lesson are pictures and videos, the lesson remain in our memory for a long time. Along with studies, sometimes we get the different types of entertainment. For that, the study seems like burden to us anymore. It seems easy and beautiful. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you, Rebecca. We're going to just go over to Gemma Driver, who's sat in the UK at the moment. She looks after our monitoring, evaluation and learning. So we're constantly talking to the refugee community, to the children, to the teachers, in order to assess the actual impact of the programme, of the digital lessons, and how that's supporting learning. So Gemma, I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about that impact and what the results are showing us at the moment.
Well, as we heard from Rebecca, children, teachers and parents are telling us over and over how much easier it is for children to learn from their lessons that are shown on the projector screen, and how much easier it is for them to retain what they've learnt, basically because the lessons are so much fun. They love seeing the programme stuff they know on the screen too, because that really grabs their attention and keeps their attention. Children haven't been able to take exams or assessments since before COVID, so we can't show the impact on their academic results, but we have seen a progression in people's opinion of the digital programme and its benefits to children's education. So I'm just going to give you a few stats. 100% of children interviewed mentioned either the projector lessons or video newsletter as favourite things about school, which was up from 88% in December 2021. Sorry, the 100% was from June this year. And most children mentioned both the projector lessons and the video newsletter as their favourite things about school. 100% of children could list multiple things they've learnt from the projector lessons, which was up from 84% in December 2021. And they listed a wider variety of things. 50% of the children in our random sample in June had been involved in video newsletters, and 100% wanted to be. And 100% of parents that we interviewed are positive about the digital programme, which was up from 87% in December 2021. And this is really significant because there was the perception that there was some resistance from the community about showing videos to children and letting children appear in video. And so this increased positivity of parents suggests that they have been convinced about the projector lessons by seeing the benefits of it firsthand. 100% of the parents interviewed listed positive impacts on the whole family of their children's education, like improved hygiene, better behaviour, help with chores. And as the digital programme is a fundamental element of their education, this suggests that it has holistic benefits for entire families. All this research was conducted before the Myanmar curriculum was imposed, so now the effects of accessing learning in a language the children will understand will be even greater.
That's brilliant, because there's quite a lot of health sort of lessons weaved in with the academic lessons, so it's quite a holistic program. Brilliant.
Yeah, there's health and hygiene, and that's a major thing that people that parents cite as being a difference in their children, and also they bring that knowledge to the home as well, and whole families start adopting. Well, it was a major thing during COVID as well. There was lots of learning about keeping safe from the virus, basically.
Yeah, of course. What has there been any learnings around the impact on children's confidence?
Yes. The digital program as a whole has had a massive impact on children's confidence, positive impact. The interviews and focus group discussions show how the children have a lot more confidence in their own learning thanks to the projector lessons. And they learn literacy and maths, but also, as we've heard, have interactive creative classes. They learn about health and hygiene, as I've just said. They watch documentaries in their own language, and they learn about the world, and taking care of themselves, staying clean and groomed, and teaching their families the diverse things they've learned at school increases their confidence further. But children also love the Moja Kids video newsletters. It really gives them confidence to see their friends and other children like them on the screen, as it tells them that they matter too. As does seeing the programme staff that they know on the screen. Children have told us that they've previously felt too shy to appear on video, but that seeing peers on there, they would now like to take part themselves. They say that they feel inspired by seeing their peers on the Moja Kids videos. So it's really clear that the newsletters definitely increase children's self-confidence and self-belief.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rebecca, so Gemma's been talking a little bit about how the parents used to have doubts about the video programme, but I wonder from your perspective what the community and the parents feel about the digital lessons now.
Actually, children's family and communities are very impressive with digital education because the children are getting interested in their education center through the digital lesson. Through this, the content of digital lesson remains their mind for a long time, and they are able to practice it among themselves. Children's families and communities are very happy to see the interest in digital lesson in their children. Children learn new things through Moja Kids videos. Some of them are trying to make paper flowers, paper vases, bags, flower vases by themselves. Our children's families and community thank to Mukti Bazar and Children on the Edge for that. Because now children can learn in a completely new way through video lessons. They also said that this is undoubtedly good initiative. They are interested to see that sometimes they come to our learning center. How can digitally their children learn? They saw that and they also impress. Sometimes some of them told us if they get the chance as uh, take education through digital lesson, they will good in their life. They will get a better job. It's their hope, and they are very much agreed with us about digital lesson is very important for their learners. Since the Myanmar language is very complicated,
Yeah.
also their parents are a little bit worried about this. But when they see our video lessons, that time they relax because they understand how easily their child can learn from here. They are very happy to see their children can study in modern way through video classes. They're learning here in this camp. There is no one take classes by video lessons because here is 33 camps and uh, more than 5,000 learning center here, but only 75 learning center we have. We provide to them digital lessons, so the parents also happy for that. They also share their comments so that they send their children in our learning center so that the children can understand easily. They found it very interesting when they also watch the digital program. Parents are very happy for their child because they can learn in digital way, digital lesson, digital programs. So they are say lots of thanks for us and they're very happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. So, John, the digital program's already proved quite clearly that it's helping children in Bangladesh access quality education and be able to express themselves and connect with friends outside the camps. What are the next steps?
Well, moving forward, we're taking kind of a three-pronged approach to the digital program. The most pressing and immediate is that we need to continue to translate the new Myanmar government curriculum textbooks. And so that process is ongoing day by day. And we are hoping to have all the grades 1 and 2 textbooks translated. And this is page by page explanation in Rohingya language by the end of the first quarter of next year. And then all three grades 1, 2, and 3 grade textbooks translated by mid-July of 2023. And we think that is just going to be absolutely critical resource, as it seems to be the only way that meaningful education can take place for these children in the camps. And it's our hope and expectation that the other partners in the education sector will either do likewise or feel free to use our academic videos that we make. We're not proprietary about them. We're happy to share them with whomever, so that this whole next generation of Rohingya children are able to learn in a meaningful way from the textbooks that they've been mandated to use. And we will also be introducing assessments and exams through the year so that we can finally demonstrate that real learning is happening. So that's the number one priority, is academic. But beyond that, we're very excited about the possibilities of where Moja Kids is going. The kids are coming up with, the longer it goes, the more possibilities they see and create. And so we're excited to see what new creative expressions they come up with over the next 50 newsletters and beyond. We're also have already begun to extend it to the work in India. So we have our program partner working with slum dwelling and Dalit children in Northeast India. They've begun to make newsletters and videos about their lives that they are eager to share with the children in Bangladesh. And also we have children, Congolese refugee children living in Uganda that have seen the videos and can very much relate to the lives of the refugee children in Bangladesh. And they're requesting to make videos for exchange. We have street living children in Cambodia in a sister program, equally have already made videos and are very, very excited to be exchanging those with children in our program. So in that since the sky's a limit, we just don't know exactly which direction Moja Kids will take, but it'll be the direction that the children choose because it's really being led by them and created by them. So we're very eager to see where that leads in next year and beyond. And then lastly, our third kind of initiative in 2023 will simply be media translation into Rohingya language. Because the Rohingya people have been completely marginalized in Myanmar for generations, largely uneducated, not granted citizenship, and kept excluded from society. There's very little content or really very little history documented in their language. And so what struck us is as soon as we started creating content in the Rohingya language was how overwhelming and even emotional the response was from both students and parents to hear their language actually spoken and produced. For most of them, it was the first time they'd ever heard it in that manner, and it was a really, really, really defining moment in our program. And so what we want to do is continue to create more and more new content. It could be educational documentaries. It could just be videos about the world, and just open up the world, the outside, because they're confined to this camp. We can open up what the outside world and give them a better understanding of what the outside world looks like, and give them a chance to interact with it through just newly translated materials. And so the idea is just give them new content in their language, new information, and hopefully that will create new expectations for them, that they have the right to be a part of the world, to be a member of broader society, and hopefully it creates the framework for them to take that next step as a stateless people group.
That's amazing, because I imagine it's not only just that they're physically trapped in a camp, but if that there's constant restrictions on internet, then they're not just on YouTube the whole time and able to kind of see wildlife and waterfalls and all the incredible things.
In the main camp, YouTube's virtually inaccessible because the internet is throttled so slow. And then we are going to have 20 classrooms on Bashanchar Island, which is a relocation camp in the middle of the Bay of Bengal on the island, which does have slightly better internet. But the children and parents there report again and again from our discussions how isolated they feel living on this island in the middle of the Bay of Bengal, cut off, not even from, cut off from their own community, let alone the rest of the world. And so we think the digital is going to just play a crucial role in giving those people exposure to the outside world and letting them be heard and be known by the outside world.
That's brilliant. We've just actually had Annie ask a question in the comments, and if anybody else wants to ask questions, now's your time for any of the panel. But she was actually asking about Basanchar and how the digital program is going to be used in the classrooms there, how soon that gets set up, because it's a relatively new set of classrooms. Is that right?
Yeah, so we have 10 classrooms running on Bashanchar Island at the moment that we will be able to begin in the first quarter of this year. And we're just taking it as a pilot phase, and now it's gone so well. And the parents, children, actually even government authorities on the island are so positive about our approach to education that they've asked us to roll out more. So we're going to do 10 more classrooms in 2023. And for the children on the island, they talk about how important it is for them to see and hear weekly from the refugees they left behind on the mainland camps, and that keeps them feeling connected. So it's a very, very essential part of our work going forward.
That's brilliant. If there's no other questions, then we'll probably wrap up, but do put your comments in if you've got anything else you'd like to know. But we've been talking, if any of you are on our social media or our newsletter, you'll probably notice that we have been talking a lot about the digital program in the last few days, because we've been part of the Big Give campaign. And within 3 days of running that campaign, we actually hit our target and had our funds matched, which has been absolutely brilliant. So if any of you have been a part of that, we want to say a big thank you. And we will leave you now, but in the comments, we'll put the link to Moja Kids if you want to have a look at some of the newsletters that the children have produced, and also a link to a video where John and Rebecca have been interviewed. But it really opens up and brings alive the digital lessons with lots of footage of children enjoying the videos and playing in the camps, so that you can really get an idea of how those work. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you so much to all of our panel from far and wide for giving your time. We really appreciate hearing about it.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.